science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
Cockatoos with attitude. Cockatoo.
Hi, and welcome to Cockatoos with Attitude, episode 16. Quality of life assessments, and how a quality of life assessment saved Sugar's life. So today we're going to be talking about quality of life assessments, and we're going to try to have some fun with it too. The main purpose of a quality of life assessment, as done by most organizations, is to determine whether or not an animal should be euthanized. That's not the only reason that a quality of life or QOL assessment could be done. But since most organizations see a high number of animals coming in and out, that's the primary reason the QOL is done. But what we have found is that a quality of life assessment will often open your eyes to either a problem you weren't fully aware of, your eyes hadn't opened to it, or to the fact that an animal is actually doing much better than you thought. We have a lot of preconceived ideas about whether an animal is doing well. For example, you may know some people who, or someone who stays at home a lot, and they sit on their computer, or they don't go out much, and you may think that person doesn't have much of a life. But if you go into a quality of life assessment, you may find out they're highly engaged in what they're doing, that they're doing things that they like to do. Maybe they're gaming with friends on the internet, and they have a whole bunch of friends out there that they talk with. So in a situation where you know somebody who's maybe living a little bit like a recluse, I've been described as that, although I don't think I'm really living like a recluse. Well, thank you. I haven't had such a comment in a long time. That's right. Thank you, big boy. So if you take a step aside and you look at things in a more scientific, which is simply observing the situation more closely with your eyes, and following an assessment pattern that's been devised by others, you can often surprise yourself and realize that someone's doing much better than you thought. And that's what happened when I initially did Sugar. There were many people who thought that Sugar's condition was such that she should be put down. She had certain things that would probably make most people believe that from the beginning, and she had broken feathers, and she was constantly getting bloody, and she didn't seem to move around much, didn't seem to have much of an interest in the world. And this was all before she got on psychotherapeutic drugs. When I first saw her, I saw her inside a little dog cage, okay? One of these little travel dog cages. And she was looking out of that cage with this what's going on in my life? Look, I thought my feeling was, this was at the vet. One of our vets had arranged it so we'd be there at the same time as the people who owned her, and unbeknownst to us. And she was a mess. I mean, her feathers were all torn up, and she just looked scared. And I thought most of that frightened look that she had, and just that disconnect that I saw in her face, I thought that was because she was at the vet. But I soon realized that was just kind of how she goes through life. And so after having her for a couple of weeks, there were some comments about, well, maybe she's just too far gone, and these comments kept coming along. And she was such a mess, and I had so much on my hands trying to just get her into the groove here. I hadn't done a quality assessment. So I'm thinking, well, The maximum score you could get if you had a bird that was perfect would be 115. And I'm thinking, well, we'll be lucky to get her in the 40 or 50 range because of her physical condition, her mental condition. And by the way, I guess I should introduce, this is Coco. Surprisingly, she's in the room. She's already had a couple of times she's started screaming. She doesn't like the camera set up. With the cameras, the microphone, and everything, she's not too happy. So as long as she's got her head buried in my chest, Sugar's up there. She's up on her perch in the spot where she likes to be. Peaches is introducing herself. She's good at that. And this is Rome. He freaked out a little earlier because I had the sound improperly set, and I looked over and saw that the sound was not going to be good for this. So I got up, and he went flopping to the floor and having a fit, and he's doing fine now, though. He did not appreciate my standing up, and he has always been a little spooky since he came here, but he's easy to calm down. He just he doesn't have a good sense of balance, so anyway, with people telling me you should put her down, and you know it's not worth taking the time to work on her because she's not going to come through. We have had some other birds like that. We had one named Sydney, and here's a picture. Sydney was so bad that she'd actually chewed one of the bones off on her wing, on one of her wings, and she'd actually chewed one of the vertebrae, the base vertebrae, off of her spinal column. So after about $3,000 worth of vet bills, she died.
We hope you will consider supporting us on Patreon today. This is how it works. We produce up to 2 videos a month. As a patron, you pledge to give us a donation, whatever you feel is right and meets your budget. And Patreon gives us your gift monthly. You can easily set a limit on how much you donate a month. You can change the amount of your pledge at any time. Your gift will allow us to continue bringing you entertaining and informative videos. Some of our planned videos are home exams, how to do a home exam quickly, efficiently, and properly. Early detection saves lives. A new paradigm, what it means to be a parrot owner. An interview with Dr. Jeffrey Jenkins of the Avian and Exotic Animal Hospital. Who is training whom? Behavior training and how to empower your bird to make good choices in our world. As a patron, you can also choose to be in the producer's circle, the director's circle, or the advisor's circle. Each donation level has benefits. You can find out about these on our Patreon page at patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary. We look forward to your participation in Cockatoo.
And there were others, none of which were actually at the sanctuary. They're all in foster homes because we didn't have room to bring them in. And so, since she was chewing her chest and she didn't seem like she was happy about life in general, didn't have much of an activity level, it just didn't seem like there was much of a chance that we were going to bring her around. So I did a quality of life assessment, and out of 115, she scored 107. And so, obviously, my bias, we all have cognitive bias, my bias was she should be more active, she should show more interest in the world, and she does show interest. Walk into this room right now with her up there, and her feathers on her head will flare out, and she'll just get all big, And the point of that is to tell everybody to stay away from me, because I'm the guy that saved her. But she just likes to observe. She likes to watch movies. She likes to kick back. She does like to be petted, but she'll get off and want to go somewhere else. And sit by herself, right? She likes to sit by herself, two peaches, doesn't she? Yeah, not like you. You want attention all the time. Yeah. So because I had the opinion that, it's part of my way of looking at the world, that the more active you are, the better you are. Well, that's not always true. And so let's go through this rather quickly and see what happens with the birds as I'm sitting here with a clipboard. But so basically on this form, which we'll have up on our website if you want to copy it, it actually comes from a book that you should have, the Shelter Manual, which is put out by the Avian Welfare Coalition and is co-authored with the ASPCA. A wonderful book. It is for shelters, but the basic information in there is the best distilled information you're going to get. The manual of parrot behavior is much more in depth, but if you want something that just kind of gives you the basics so you know what to do, this is a great book. Keep in mind, it is for shelters, so there's a lot of shelter-specific information. But as far as knowing how to house birds and how they should be fed and how to work with them when you first come in contact with a bird, excellent book. So this is out of there. Diagnosis or presenting signs, and in her case, what we originally had, and I still have it down here, is FDB for feather destructive behavior, and then I have an M after it for mutilator, and then the other thing is, lethargy. See, I see her as lethargic, and that's my particular viewpoint, but when she wants to do something, she's not lethargic at all. When she wants to go to her night cage, which she loves going to, she will fight, she will fly to the floor, she'll run to go back there. It's the things she wants to do, she's ready to do, and she moves at it quickly. It comes to that point where a lot of people, they believe that because they've seen it on the internet, that there's dominance in parrots, that there's a pecking order, which there isn't. And so if a bird gets on your shoulder and bites you, you think, they're trying to be dominant. If they bite you on your foot after that, you don't think about it because it's happening at a different time. It's in a different place. So you add up all the ones. Coco, they're cameras, okay? They're just cameras. You add up all the bites that you get to the ear and to the face, and that becomes your dominance role. Okay, that's where your cognitive bias is. You don't really count the ones where they're chasing your feet on the floor or where they bite you on the thumb and they're down on your lap. Those just don't add up. So in order to get around that, that's what you use the forms for. Okay. Past current treatments. Okay. Past treatments, she's had collars. Normally, this is all written down. I do it on a computer. So she's had 13 collars. She's had Paxil. And she's had Haldol. And her current treatment is Haldol, and she's at 0.21. And that's the undiluted concentrate. That's normally about the level you would give a Moluccan mutilator while they're in the process of mutilating themselves. It's pretty high. The most I can get her down to is a 0.20. And the reason for that is if you go too low, you start getting it down to like 0.17, 0.16, and then all of a sudden she just rips her feathers off all over the place. So you can't. We've pretty much set the baseline as 0.20, that we don't go below that. And the reason I was trying to get below it is because I wanted her to be more active. But to tell you the truth, I had her off the drug. I had her off the drug for a while in just a collar, and she acts just the same without the drug, except maybe she's a little more interested in the world with the drug in her system. But When she has the collar on, which she, of course, she hates, but when she has the collar on, her activity level is no different. Her basic motor skills and everything are the same. Her previous evaluation score, her last score was 108. And right now, recommendations are, keep at 0.21. And other things, other recommendations that we have for her, and I'm not going to write everything down because I'll do that afterwards, but I'll say them anyway. Right now, recommendations for her based on what we've seen in the past evaluations is to make sure she has things she likes to chew. And right now, she has like 3 things up there she likes to chew. So make sure she has movies to watch. That she gets into a room with a bunch of birds and experiences that. She does like being around them. She doesn't necessarily like being next to them, but she likes being around them. Coco, you're doing very well considering. Okay, mobility. And these are expectations. The bird can perform some form of mild exercise. Yeah, she does that pretty frequently. As in, she walks around on the ropes in the main bird room and what you would call the living room, although I don't think anybody lives in there except the birds. Sorry, Peaches. I have to preen you. I know, because you can't do it yourself. So, she walks around on the ropes. She will get down and walk around on the floor and hang out. She likes to flap her wings, so she does all that. So she does exercise. The bird can hold his or her head when at rest. Yeah, obviously she keeps her head up. That's not a problem. The bird can walk in balance. Yes, she can. Her balance isn't the best because of her feather condition. You know, she had for so long, she had no feathers, so makes it kind of... They do use their wings to help them balance. The bird can maneuver about his or her surroundings without assistance. Yes. Okay. Evaluation 5 always, 4 most of the time, 3 sometimes, 2 rarely, and 1 never. Can the bird get to his or her feet without assistance? And that's always 5. Can the bird stand without collapsing? 5, that's always. Can the bird walk? If applicable, can she fly? She can walk. I'm putting it down as a 4 because she does walk pretty slowly, whether or not she's medicated. Can the bird perform basic functions such as moving to and from the food and water dishes? Yeah, she does that all the time. No problem. 5. And for additional comments, basically, she just is, not that active. So I'm putting down not that active. Coco, I hope you don't keep screaming at the cameras. Okay, I hope you don't freak out, okay? Because we like having you in here. Yes, we do, because you're a good girl. So you add that score up, she got a 19. 19 out of 20 on that page. Now, when you have a bird that seems semi-lethargic and doesn't seem that interested in the world, it's kind of surprising when you put down 19 out of 20. But those all... Hey, come here. No, we're not going to start the screaming at things. Come here. Come here, sit on my chest. Sit on my chest. No. Coco, calm down. Coco. Come on, sweetie. We want you to stay in here. You need to be quiet. Sustenance. The bird is able to eat and drink. Hey, Coco. You're going to be leaving if you keep it up. It's tough for you, isn't it? You just hate those cameras. The bird is able to eat and drink without assistance. Yes. And the bird is able to eat and drink without discomfort or pain. And we got the same ones. 5 is always, and 1 is never. Can the bird eat by herself? And that's all the time she can eat by herself. She had a terrible diet when she came here. So, Coco, I may have to take you out so I can get sugar down here. You know that? I may just have to do that. I don't think I can sit you over here and I can keep you there. We'll try. Roman, come on. Oops, Roman, right there. Right there. Good boy. Okay, you go up here. Let me go get sugar. Think you can sit up there without screaming? Come on, Shug. Let's get the sugar down here. Come on, Shug. Come on, sugar. I got a sugar. I got a sugar. Yes, I do. I got a sugar. Hi, sugar. Hi, sugar. Hi, baby. Now, Roman, don't do that. It'll upset her if you start nipping at me. It will. She doesn't like it when anybody bugs me. No nipping. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Shug. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing, sweetie? I know I'm not supposed to talk to Sugar Peaches. I know. Roman, don't hit my shoulder. Roman. Hey. Okay. And instead of saying the bird, I'm going to use her name. Can Sugar consume enough food or digest enough food to remain properly nourished? Oh yeah. Her biggest problem with food is that she wants to eat Frosted Flakes because they were feeding her things like Frosted Flakes and sugared foods and high-fat foods. Roman, no, Rome, get down. Come here. Come here. Come here. Roman, come here. No, I'm not going to leave you up there. You're biting my neck. Back down here. There you go, sweetie. There you go. There you go. Sugar bird. You want to go up there? All right. Hey, Shug, what you doing up there? Is Sugar able to eat or drink without regurgitating her food or water? Yep, every time. Is she able to chew? Yes, every time. Able to swallow her food without difficulty? That's a 5. Does she enjoy eating? Now there's a question. Yes. She enjoys eating if you give her something that she likes. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of things that she likes. She likes jam and jelly. She likes muffins, which I have to cook her special muffins. Some of the other birds will get a little bit of that, won't they, Peaches? You had some this morning. She had some multi-grain organic muffins that I made. So the answer is actually, does she enjoy eating? I give it a 4 because it's only certain things that she likes, she enjoys. She maintains her weight though. So, additional comments, basically she maintains her weight. She eats the things that she likes to eat, but she doesn't eat things that are good for her if she can avoid it. Kind of like a 3 or 4-year-old child in a lot of ways. Physical comfort. Expectations. Sugar appears comfortable and free of moderate to severe pain. Sugar is able to eat, drink, and sleep comfortably. Sugar is able to breathe freely and without difficulty. Sugar is able to urinate and defecate without difficulty or incontinence. She is free from uncontrollable pain, distress, and discomfort. Okay, those are the expectations. And it's the same scale again. 5 is always, 1 is never. Does the bird appear agitated or bothered by pain or discomfort? In this case, never. Is the bird able to stand or sit in a relaxed manner? Are you able to stand or sit in a relaxed manner? Yes, you are. Yes. That's a 5. Does the bird tolerate touch and necessary handling by the caregiver and other birds? She's not terribly good about other birds getting close to her. I guess she tolerates touch okay. I give it a 4 because she's not good around other birds. I mean, she can sit next to them. She doesn't attack or anything, but she'd rather not be around there, and these birds are supposed to be social, so. So on that one, she scores a 14 out of 15.
If you are enjoying our videos, we hope that you can find it in your heart to support our work. It costs between $25,000 to $30,000 a year to care for our flock of heartbroken and abused birds. Most of our birds came with feather destructive disorder. Even a basic exam with blood work costs $300. Medical emergencies cost us thousands a year. We are a non-profit, and donations are tax-deductible to the full extent of the law. We need your support. Birds deserve a happy and healthy life. Become our patron at www.patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary to support us on a per-video basis, or donate at our webpage today.
Expectations. Sugar is able to interact with her environment. Sugar shows signs of interest in what's going on around her. Sugar experiences pleasure from her surroundings. Sugar does not express stereotypic or self-injurious behaviors. Okay, this is her tough area here. Are Sugar's sensory faculties sufficient to allow her to be acclimated to her surroundings? Do you notice the world around you, kid? Do you? Sugar, come here. We're going to do the psychological. I want you to come over here. Come on. Come see me. Come on, Sugar. Come on, Sugar. Come on. There's a sugar bird. It's all right. It's all right. Oh, there's those wings. There's those wings. This is where she had broken off her feathers the last time. When I took her down below 2.20. We won't do that again, will we? No, we won't. You know why? Because you tear yourself up. Yeah, you had all those feathers, and then I brought you down to, I think I got her down to 0.17 once you did that. And that was a lot of work, wasn't it? For you to tear all those feathers out in like 15 minutes. That was amazing. Right? You want to sit on my chest? What do you want to do? What do you want to do, cutie? You want to sit up on the shoulder. I know. Okay, see, she knows what she wants, and she'll go and get it when she wants it. She wants to sit up here. Okay. Her sensory faculties are fine. Is the bird able to safely navigate within the immediate environment? Yeah. I give that a 4 because she's still missing feathers on her left wing. So, is Sugar comfortable in her surroundings? Does she recognize and respond appropriately to familiar animals, objects, sounds, voices, and people? On that one, I would give a 3, and that's because she's not all that comfortable around other birds. But she will recognize and respond appropriately. Don't you? What do you think? Sugar, what do you say? You just want to sit there and be by my neck, don't you? Does the bird abstain from performing stereotypic behaviors such as pacing, route tracing, repetitive bar biting, or tongue rolling? You don't do any of that, do you? She actually does a little bit of that. If she's left in her cage, she likes to be out, and she was out on a perch almost all the time with the last people, or so they tell us. If you leave her in a cage in the mornings too long, she'll get up, and she knows you're home. She will get up, and she'll get on one side of the cage and hang there and flap her wings a little bit and make little sounds like "let me out." So that I would count that as an issue. Does she abstain from self-injurious behaviors? That's a 3. She's, now that I have her down a little bit on her drugs, she's started picking a little bit here. Some of those feathers are gone. They're never coming back here anyway. But she has done a little bit of picking on each side, and right up in here just a little bit. And that's okay. I mean, I want to keep it at this level and see if we can get it to work, and possibly add a little Valium into the mix towards, at the social times. Right? What do you say, Shug? What do you say, Sugar? Sugar bird. You're gonna be like that today, just quiet, huh? Okay, I love you too, Roman bird. So let's add that up. I can't add. 12, 16, 19 out of 25. And so we just have the FDB on shoulder. You're gonna eat my ear? Everybody likes that. Lorelei bit my ear, now everybody wants to eat the scabs off my ear. And that includes you. Now see that? There's a positive thing to what she just did there. She's obviously paying attention to her environment as she realizes that I have scabs on my ear, and she tries to take them off, right? And that's just the kind of thing a mate would do. Try to clean up their mate, right? Good girl. Good girl. Next page. Hi, Roman. Condition and treatment considerations. Expectations. Commonly accepted treatment is available and has been effective in other similar cases. And treatment will cure the condition or alleviate pain and discomfort. Treatment will offer a reasonable degree of life quality rather than quantity. There's an interesting question. Will a treatment offer them a higher quality of life? In a lot of cases, you can give an animal something to keep them alive, but it's just going to give them, another 6 months of life, and they're not going to be happy. If they're suffering for 6 months, it doesn't make any sense, does it? Doesn't make any sense with people either. I love you too, common bird. Is the bird's condition well understood? Is effective treatment available? And yes, that's a 5. When we first got her, I wouldn't have answered that one a 5 because when we tried the Haldol on her, I was giving her a dosage way below what she needed, and none of the books really say to go that high, so. She could have killed herself in that time, and it would have been really sad because I just wasn't willing to try a higher level of dosage on her. Right? Right, Chug? Right, Chugger? Hi! Can you say your hi? Hi, Sugar. Sugar the bird. Hey, Sugar bird. Hi. Hello. How you doing? What's up? What's up with the sugar? What's up with the sugar bird? What you doing? What you doing? Not watching the movie. I know you like watching movies. She really does like just sitting and observing. That's her thing. She hugs, though, don't you, girl? Here's a hugger. Will treatment alleviate pain, distress, or discomfort? And, it definitely gets rid of distress, so it's a 5. Will treatment halt the progression of the bird's condition? That's a 5. I mean, she's got feathers on her chest. And her behavior is, actually, she's a little more active on Haldol than she was without it. The only thing where she had more activity was in ripping her feathers and shredding herself all day long. That was about the only thing. When it came to her other behaviors, her activity and that kind of stuff, that's all about the same as it was then. And that's what the other quality of life assessments show. Will treatment permit normal activity and functioning? And that's a 4. I just feel that I would like to have the dosage she's on a little bit lower, and that's a personal feeling, so I'm not sure that 4 is right. Maybe a 5 belongs there, but treatment doesn't seem to be doing anything negative to her at all. What are you doing? Yeah. She likes to sit up on her perch, and I've got her down here, so she's, this isn't what I usually do. Is it possible to offer this bird a reasonable quality of life for a meaningful period of time? Sugar, what do you think? What do you think? You want to tell everybody what you think? Is this a reasonable quality of life for you? It is? Are you sure? You know what? I wish I had a chip. If I had an unsalted tortilla chip, you could see just how intense she can be. And right now she doesn't have anything she was really totally into focusing on except me. So, if you offer her something and she prefers them with salt, but she will eat a tortilla chip if it doesn't have salt. So, if you offer her something like that, you will definitely see a reaction. And you know what? I'm going to get up and get a piece of apple for her. Why don't you sit right here for a second while I go get a piece of apple. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get a piece of apple. I'm probably going to get Bob screaming too, but I'll be right back. I'm getting a piece of apple. Knocking into any of the cameras. I'm such a bull in a china shop.
14:30.
All right. We talk about the quality of how she can eat and stuff. You want an apple? Oh, I love you too. No, she doesn't have any trouble holding the apple. She does like apple. She would prefer that you gave her a candy bar, I think, but she does like apple. You get to see a little bit of her normal activity. Her balance is pretty good. She's standing on one foot. She's, solidly on that foot. She's eating that apple because she likes apple. Her ability to control her beak and eat, pretty much eat everything right down to where there's not going to be anything left is great. And a lot of that, a lot of this kind of evaluation is how well do they do the things they want to do. You done with the apple? You want another? You want this one? You want to give me this? She likes to drop the other thing she's got if you want. You want another piece? Do you want another piece? Nope. You gonna finish what you got? You gonna finish what you got? Are you done? What? What do you want? You want something. I see that look. I know the I want look. You want this other piece? Do you want it? You can't decide. You want to get rid of this piece and you want that one? You're done. Is it possible to offer this bird a reasonable quality of life for a meaningful period of time? What do you think? Yeah, I would say that's a 4, and that's just because I'm not sure if she'll take a downturn. But as she is right now, I'd say she's going to have a reasonable period of life. So she's got 23 out of 25 on that. So let's see if I can add this in my head. I'm not as good at that kind of thing as I used to be. 19. Actually, the easiest way with her, because she does have a high score, is just count the ones that she doesn't have. So there's 2 that she's missed on that. The 1 that she missed there, that's 3. And here she missed 6, so that's 9. And there she missed 2, so that's 11. So that gives her a score of 104 today. So her QOA is 104, which is pretty darn good for a bird, isn't it? Is that pretty good? Oh, okay. You want to show the people how interested you can be? You want to go up to your spot, don't you? You want to go sit up there? Is that what you want, sugar bird? Is that what you want? Hi, sugar? Is that where you want to go? You like your spot, don't you? She loves her spot. This is what she does when she wants something. She wants to go sit up there. You've had your time down here. You want to go sit up there. Okay, that's a good girl. So let's do another QOL. I was going to do 3, but I think we may only do 2 today. So we're going to do peaches now. And she had FDB, a little bit of feather, because she can't turn her head with the 6 fused vertebrae. I got to put that down too. These are all already in her file, but she has 6 fused vertebrae. So she can't really preen her tail in, so I have to do all the preening. And there's a lot of feathers back there. You don't realize how many feathers you have to deal with until you have to preen them for the bird. So her FDB was, come on, Peach, let's see if we can show the people. Come on. Come on up so I can see you. Come on. All right. She chews right here. This is where she'll chew. If she starts chewing, and she'll start chewing there. So these are the 2 areas you got to watch. And if she starts chewing on this, then she'll eventually start chewing here. So just recently, it happens a couple of times a year. She's in remission. She usually doesn't even have to take anything. But she'll start nibbling on one or the other. And when that happens, then we'll put her on a tiny bit of Haldol. She's been on 0.04, and just yesterday she went to 0.05 because I caught her just sitting there trying to work these feathers. She hadn't pulled anything off yet, but she was working them, so. Right, baby? With her, you gotta watch her weight, because when she's on Haldol, she'll tend to lose weight. Although that didn't happen this time, it hasn't affected her weight at all. Has it, baby? Hi. Yes, I know, you're much more active than she is. Now, Sugar is she's just sitting up there, she's grinding her beak, she's just having, just kind of having a sleepy time after being out. She prefers to sit and watch things. She doesn't like to be too active. This one, on the other hand, wants to get in on everything. Like last time when she was down chewing on the microphone stand, and I didn't even know it until I went back to edit, and all of a sudden I heard these crunching sounds. And then I had to take the sound off of the iPhone. Yeah. It kind of messed up the quality, but that's okay. It happens, right? All right. Her previous evaluation score, I didn't look that up. It was over 100, but I don't remember what it was. Okay. We're under mobility now. Can the bird get to his or her feet without assistance? And that is a yes, 5, always. Can the bird stand without collapsing? That's a 5, always. Can the bird walk if applicable? Can she fly? She can walk. She's really slow at it. So, and that's because of her neck. Can the bird perform basic functions such as moving to and from the food bowl and water dishes and that kind of thing? And yes, she can do all that. She's a little slow, but if you had a fused neck, you'd be slow too. Right, Peach? Can the bird eat by herself? So I never really know how to answer that question. Yes, she can eat by herself, but it's kind of like the Monty Python skit with Mr. Creosote. You have to keep bringing the food and laying it in front of her, and she'll sit there with a certain look on her face that indicates this is time to change the bowl. I'm done with this, or wipe my face. She doesn't like, because of her neck problem, she doesn't want to move around to wipe her face off. I'm fairly sure that's why she'll look at me with stuff hanging on her face, and I'll go over and wipe it off, and she'll go back to her food. Or she'll look at me, and then I'll look at her, and she'll look down at the bowl. She wants a new bowl of blueberries, a new bowl of her vegetables, a new bowl of mash, whatever it is she wants. Bring me more edamame. So I have to play the role of a good waiter at a fancy restaurant. Where, if you've ever been to a really fancy restaurant, I remember I was at one many years ago when I used to have money before I had birds, and before I was taking care of birds. And there were actually 2 waiters watching the table, so you didn't really see them, but they were in the background watching your table. So if you just ran out of wine, there was somebody there to offer you another bottle. And that's the way it is with her. In her meals, I've got to be there with her, making sure, just walking by and checking to make sure she doesn't need anything. And then part of the time, too, I actually have to walk away. I have to go back, in the mornings I'll go back and work on cleaning things up. If I stand there or too close to her, she may stop eating, just because she's paying attention to me. So to get her to eat, I often have to walk away, but I have to keep looking in, and I have good viewpoint to do that from the night room, the sleeping room for the birds. I can watch and see if she's just sitting there, that's one thing, but if she's looking at her bowl and looking up at me, then I know I need to go in. Can she eat by herself? I'm giving that a 5, but because she can, she'll eat. But it's kind of, I always wonder about that 5 because I've got to be there. I've got to make sure that her bowls are brought to her and that everything's laid down, and it has to be that not bowls, are actually lids, because she can't raise her, she doesn't have the ability to raise her head very far. So the closer it is to the table where she eats, or perch in this case, the better it is for her. So, can she consume enough food to remain properly nourished? Sure, if you can serve her for about an hour. So I'm putting a star by that because you have to serve her for an hour. Is Peaches able to eat or drink without regurgitating her food or water? And that's a 5, always. Is she able to chew? That's an always yes. Where with Coco, no, she can't. You need to feed her with a syringe. So, is she able to swallow her food without difficulty? Yes, that's always. Does she enjoy eating? Is it not necessary to coax every bite into her mouth? Well, I'm going to give that a 3, just because you have to be there. You honestly have to be there. And although I'm not coaxing the food in there, I'm placing the trays, and it does require that you're pretty attentive. So she gets, out of 30, she gets a 28 on that one. Physical comfort. The bird appears comfortable and free of moderate to severe pain. The bird is able to eat, drink, and sleep comfortably. The bird is able to breathe freely and without difficulty. The bird is able to urinate and defecate without difficulty or incontinence. The bird is free from uncontrollable pain, distress, or discomfort. Okay. Does the bird appear agitated or bothered by pain or discomfort? And on that one, I'm going to give her a 3 sometimes. Is the bird able to stand or sit in a relaxed manner? And that's a 3 for her. You know, you can tell that her neck hurts her most of the time, but she does have a pretty good quality of life. You know, I mean, she's attentive and all these other things that go with it. Does she tolerate touch and necessary handling? That's a 5. She definitely tolerates handling. And additional comments, she takes Medicam on occasion. I give it to her when I feel like she's hurting too much, and you can see it in her eyes. Her eyes become oval instead of round, and she'll sit in front of her food bowls and she won't want to eat. I'll give her a little pain medication. She'll usually start eating rather quickly. In fact, a little too quickly. I think that she anticipates the pain going away, which is interesting. That, you know, I know if I take this pill, I'm not going to be in pain anymore. It kind of works like that with her. You know, you give her a little bit of Medicam and she's right onto her food. We don't give it to her every day because, you know, we don't want to take a chance on damaging her, you know, any of her organs, which, you know, Medicam could do. So now we're on to psychological factors. Wait a minute, I didn't add that up. She's got an 11 out of 15 on that. The bird is able to interact with her environment. Now we've read all those. Are the bird's sensory faculties sufficient to allow her to be acclimated to her surroundings? And that's a 5. Is the bird able to safely navigate within the immediate environment? And it used to be a 3. She's a 4 now. She climbs up in her cage and sits on the bowls, you know, that are 2 feet off the ground. So she's doing much better about that. Is she comfortable in her surroundings? Does she recognize and respond appropriately to familiar animals, objects, sounds, voices, and people? Yes. She does get a little spooked, though, sometimes by, you know, birds that she knows moving quickly. And so I'll give her a 4 on that, just because she does have a tendency to get a little spooked in the beginning. Does she abstain from performing stereotypic behaviors such as pacing, rope tracing, bar biting, tongue rolling? She doesn't do any of that. Does the bird abstain from self-injurious behavior? And that's a 4. And just because occasionally she'll start chewing, you medicate her and she's all right. So she's 22 out of 25 on that. And this is interesting because here's a bird who's got a spinal injury, you know, in her neck, with 6 fused vertebrae. She has a tendency to chew on her chest, and she doesn't have a great deal of mobility because of her problem, but yet she's rating really high. And she's rating high because the quality of what she can do within those boundaries is pretty good. And you're pretty much alert, aren't you? If I say the name Sugar, what will you say? Hi, Peaches. All I had to do was say Sugar. Sugar? Oh, you're funny. Mate territoriality. Is this bird's condition well understood? Effective treatments available? So, yes, we fully understand her neck pain, and we understand about the feather destructive behavior, so all of those are treatable. Will treatment alleviate pain, distress, or discomfort? Yes, it will, so that's a 5. We can't give it to her every day, though, because we don't want to, threaten the length of her life. Quality is more important, though, so if she was in pain every day and looked suffering, then she'd take Medicam every day. Maybe we'd take one day off, just to kind of cool the body, but... Will treatment halt the progression of the bird's condition? Yes and no. So it's basically a 5 on the FDB. Okay. and you can't do anything about the neck condition. So treatment will alleviate the pain, but it's not going to halt the progression of the bird's condition. So you have to give that like a 2. So you average that out, it's a 3 between the 5 and the 2. Will treatment permit normal activity and functioning? Again, it doesn't really give you normal activity, so it's a 2 on her neck and a 5 on the FTV, so we're back to a 3 on that one between the 2. Is it possible to offer this bird a reasonable quality of life for a meaningful period of time? And there it is, yes. In fact, it's a 4 because we can't give her full mobility and things like that, but you're a happy bird, aren't you? Are you a happy bird? Huh, Peaches? You a happy bird? Yeah, it's a happy bird. Not very active right now, are you, kid? You're acting kind of, yeah. I caught him right at their sleepy time, which most birds get kind of relaxed at around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I tried to do this a little earlier, and I didn't make it today. I had to do it later, so. So there we got. Let's see, out of 25, we're 2, 4, 5, 20 out of 25. So, my excessively great math. It's hard to believe I ever took algebra or anything, intermediate algebra, because I have trouble just adding these days. 19. Now, I'm doing this in reverse. It's easier to do it the minus way, so this is a 19. So there's 1 we missed on that, and 2 we missed on that is 3, and 4 we missed on that is 7, and 3 we missed on that is 10. And 5 there, 15. So she scores 100. So you scored 100. Come up and show the folks who you are. Come up and say, I'm the Peaches. You'll say, I'm the Peaches? I'm the Peaches? Now, if you're just seeing a quality of life, see if we can get her to play a little bit. Hi, Peaches. Hi, Peach. Hello. Hello. Say, Peaches. Hello. Hello. Peaches. Hello. Hello, Peaches. Hello. Hello, Peaches. Peaches. Hello. Hello, Peaches. Hello. 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 Now she got a lower score than Sugar, and she's much more active, interested in the world, and Sugar is just not that interested. She pays attention, but she's not that active. So most people would reverse that and give her a higher score. But when we went through it, we looked at the individual things that make up what's going on with her. I mean, the lower score makes sense with Peaches. Coco, what are you doing? Oh, I love you too, Roman. Roman's psychological was low when he came in. I mean, he was just afraid of everything. And he didn't want anything to do with any other birds or me or anything. He just kind of wanted to crawl into a hole and die. You don't feel that way now, do you, boy? No. No. And Coco, she was a real skittish little girl. Her psychological profile was pretty negative on the point of interacting with others. It wasn't terribly good. But she's up there. And Salamander? Salamander? He couldn't play by himself when I first got him in here. But he certainly doesn't play boy now, aren't you? So the main point of a quality of life assessment is to get you to look, and or at least I use it to get myself to look and see and observe how a bird is functioning from a more rational point of view. when you look at things from a perspective like this, it's a lot easier to see where a bird stands than if you just run it through your head occasionally, or you're looking at individual situations you see during the day with the bird. For example, if you caught her at certain times of the day, she's playing by herself and she's not too interested in the rest of the world. She does do that. Sometimes she wants to go to her cage and play in there for a while. She goes in there and drinks a little extra water. She likes to do that. And then other times she's really active. Sometimes she's screaming. She's screaming by the window. She just likes to, that's just like she's really just singing, but she's screaming out the window. So if you took any of those and you add them up and say she does a lot of screaming at the window, or she sits in her cage for part of the day and doesn't do anything, if you focus on those particular things and you're not paying attention to everything else, then you may not see the whole picture. So the point of a quality of life assessment is so that once a month you see the whole picture. And when you look at it that way, you go, oh, wow. You know, she really does have some strong personality points, but she's weak in her physical stuff. And maybe she's screaming at night. You know, that's part of the pain thing. Maybe it's just her way of talking to the world, but you don't want to get focused on one behavior and not see the others. So try to take, even if you don't use a quality of life assessment form, try to actually evaluate things rationally. I really recommend using this form, and you can find it in the shelter manual, which you can find in our show notes and up on our website. I love you. I love you too, Roman. My Roman bird. That's such a good boy. And you're a good girl, Peaches. I know your dad loves you. Yes, you do. You say goodbye to the people. That's about it. So I hope you enjoy using quality of life assessments and find them useful in your life. And we'll talk at you later.
We welcome your feedback on our videos. We look forward to your insights, tips, questions, stories, and pictures. You can email us at cockatoo@chloesanctuary.org, reach us on Twitter @ChloeSanctuary, and join with us on our Facebook Chloe Sanctuary page.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.